So the flagship title for the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 is, of course, Mario Kart World, a game that's been surrounded in controversy, and rightfully so, honestly. Mario Kart World is the biggest and baddest Mario Kart game of all time, according to Nintendo, so much, in fact, that they had to charge you $80 for this game, which rubbed a lot of people the wrong way and kind of became the discussion point more so than the game itself. Now, as we talk about the game, we will talk about the $80 price point and try to come to some sort of conclusion with it, but I got mine with my Nintendo Switch 2 bundle, so technically it only cost me $50. I definitely think that is the move. And I'm not someone who is like a die-hard Mario Kart fan. Like, I definitely have fun with them. I definitely play them a lot. But with Mario Kart 8 and, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe by extension, that really being the last new Mario Kart game that we got, it kind of came to a point where it was like, well, what can you do next? Like, what can you do more? Like, is Mario Kart World going to be more of the same? Or is there really going to be that sort of leap that makes it feel special? And watching the previews and watching the trailers and all that stuff, Nintendo themselves covering the game, I didn't quite know how to feel. I didn't quite know what to expect. It definitely seemed like they added in new stuff, but was it actually going to be worthwhile, or was it still going to feel just like a standard Mario Kart game? And it's honestly not what I expected. I went into this expecting to be Mario Kart with a few more bells and whistles, but I really think that they have made quite a leap with this game that makes it feel familiar, but also very fresh at the same time. So, of course, the basis of Mario Kart, it is that it is a racing game, and you are to race with other people and try to finish in first place. Now, looking at previous Mario Kart games, it was always the same sort of formula. You pick your circuit and you're off to the races, and you go around the track 3 times. You try to finish in first place. You do a series of 4 different races, and then you win that circuit, and then you move on to the next circuit. It's pretty much the standard for all kart racing games, and really most racing games in general. And it starts out that way whenever you pick a circuit, and the first course you do is indeed the traditional 3-lap system. But then all of the other courses within the circuit are these pseudo open-ended courses where it's not going around the same thing 3 times. There's checkpoints that kind of act as, lap 1 and lap 2 for sections of the race, but it's really more so a point A to point B situation. And of course, you're trying to get there faster. So I like that. I think it opens up the level design quite a bit as far as, the feeling of a bit more freedom. And then when you start to actually race and you start to look around these courses and you start to explore these courses, you really start to see that, yes, you can play it just kind of as your standard Mario Kart game with just a different course variety, but you can also play it in a much more free and open aspect that wasn't really prevalent in the other versions. And of course, this is because they have included things like grinding and wall riding. And at first, you're not going to do it. I didn't do it for a while until I started to see little areas, and I was like, oh, I could probably grind on that. I could probably wall ride on that. And then you try it out and you're like, oh, I could have done this. I could have gone this way. I could have, taken this path instead of this path. And then the game really, really starts to open up. It's a very chaotic game. Don't get me wrong. With 24 racers on the course, if you're in the middle of the pack, it can feel kind of overwhelming. If you're at the end, you'll get some great items and you'll move your way up. If you're at the front, you just got to stay at the front. But if you're in the middle of the pack, you can go from 5 to 14 in the blink of an eye. But I like the chaos that it adds. There's also course hazards. There's different things that are happening. Wild animals running, charging chucks, Hammer Brothers throwing crap at you, Goombas running across the course. There's always a sense of excitement within the courses, and I think that's because most of the courses are not just, hey, go around in this circle 3 times. You're always wondering what's around the next corner, what's around the next bend. because of that uncertainty, because of this new course design, that I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. It feels so much fresher, and it feels so much like reinvigorating Mario Kart. Like sometimes you'll turn into like a little hovercraft and, you know, fly through the air a little bit. And then sometimes you'll go through water and it feels a little bit like Wave Race, and like the water physics are different than the land physics and stuff like that. It's little things like that, coupled with the new course design, that really make the game feel super, super different. And I absolutely love these refinements to the gameplay, because I think it was very much needed. You also have various new power-ups that you can get. There's a Hammer Brothers power-up where you could throw hammers at people and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. There's ice balls that you can throw as well. There's a bunch of new power-ups, and I enjoy most of them. I think they're all pretty much, you know, well deserved additions to the Mario Kart game, and it keeps things, like I said, it keeps things fresh when you are playing it, because now you have these new power-ups to deal with as well. Of course, doing the various circuits will unlock additional characters. You can actually unlock additional costumes for the characters as well by stopping at these little Yoshi food places. There'll be like a little food bag, and sometimes it'll give you just like a speed power-up, or sometimes it'll unlock a new costume for the character that you have. So the racing is great. Like, I think this is the best that Mario Kart has ever felt. I feel like it has definitely made quite a bit of a jump in terms of the gameplay, and it really does feel like very fresh. The courses are very well designed. There's day and night cycles. Sometimes there's weather stuff happening in there as well. I really enjoy it. I think it's super well done. Then, of course, you have things like the multiplayer aspect. And the multiplayer is, you know, it's pretty much your standard stuff, but they do include new modes that are also available in single player, such as the knockout mode. The knockout mode is basically one giant circuit with no pauses in between. You are just constantly going. There are 24 racers at the start, and if you want to get to the last leg, you got to be in the top 3, I believe it was, top 3 or top 4. And of course, you're just trying to win. And through every subsequent checkpoint, people are dropping off who did not hit the metric. So you could play that in single player. You can play that online. You can also do battle mode online, which is super fun, very chaotic as well. They didn't make it, you know, like to the point of where there's 24 people in the battle mode. Thank God, because that would have been absolute chaos. But you know, the various battle modes are super fun. The online itself works very well. I have had no issues with lag or anything like that, or dropped games or whatever. Everything's been working perfect with that. And I do like the knockout mode. I think it adds another wrinkle into the sort of gameplay. And then there's kind of the mystery aspect of it, and that was the free roam aspect. And I'll be honest with you. When I first saw this free roam, I thought it looked super boring. Like, it seemed like, okay, we're going to take a little bit of something from Forza Horizon, and we are going to try to implement that in Mario Kart, but we're not going to have a bunch of stuff to do, because that was kind of the perception that a lot of people had with this, myself included. Yeah, there's P blocks, and those are like little, you know, sort of missions that you can do, and you can get things like additional stickers for your car and stuff like that, and little in-game rewards, but who, you know, they don't look that fun. It doesn't look that interesting, and that was definitely my mentality with it. When I saw the Wave Race inspired one, I thought, oh, that looks kind of cool, but it seemed like these were just going to be little boring things. But once you get into that free roam, I don't know, man. There's just something about it that just, it has that sense of bewilderment, because of the fact that between the free roam areas that you normally don't access are your courses. So now you have the courses that you have raced on, but then you have these large free roam areas, and like the little P blocks, the little missions that you do, I mean, they're pretty varied. Like, you know, I've done things like collect blue coins, which is kind of a standard thing. There was one where I had to thank the alligators for helping me jump across like a large chasm or something like that. One of them was like a mini race. It was a 3-lap race based on time. And if the timer ran out, you would be, of course, eliminated from it. And like, there's a decent variety of stuff here. Like, yeah, I would have liked there to be, you know, kind of like a boss battle or something like that. I haven't found any of that sort of stuff. I don't think there is going to be a boss battle, but there's really that sense. There's really that sense of like, well, I wonder what's over here. I wonder what's going on over here. I was just driving around, minding my own business. I went down to the beach. I got a new sticker, or a Princess Peach coin medallion thing. And then I noticed this large boat thing, and I was like, oh, this must be something like, you know, like you go, because it had like a weird thing at the back of it. I was like, oh, okay, I probably just go into this, and it's like a speed boost. No, then I took over the boat, and I was like, what? And now I'm just driving this big boat, like knocking into these different sea creatures that are in the area. And it's little things like that that make it feel very different. I don't think you should go into it with a Forza Horizon sort of mentality, because I feel like with Forza Horizon, you know, that's kind of ingrained in the DNA of the game. Whereas this seems like it's supposed to be something that is a part of the game, but it's also like a little bit different because it's not the traditional style of the game. The traditional style of the game is, of course, the racing, is, of course, the multiplayer, is, of course, all of that sort of stuff. Whereas this is like something to build upon that. So instead of like, when you think of Forza Horizon, you think, okay, big ass open world, I unlock missions, I can get missions in other areas now. Like that's the basis of the game. The racing is a part of the world. Whereas this, the racing is the core of the game, and the free roam is the stuff that's added onto it. So it feels different. I know that probably makes no sense to 99% of you, but in my head, it makes perfect sense. And I think once you experience it, especially if you've played, you know, sort of open world style racing games, like you'll kind of understand it. You can, of course, play in the open world with friends. You could do game chat with friends as well. John hasn't gotten the stupid game chat app. He hasn't signed up for it yet because he's a moron, so I didn't get to try that out. But it does seem like it's very easy. Of course, there are a ton of different things to unlock, from various vehicles to different characters that you get for completing circuits, to variations of the characters by finding the Yoshi bags that have the different character skins in there. So there's a lot to do in the game. You acquire the coins. The coins then allow you, of course, to unlock new vehicles and stuff like that. It is a beefy game. There is a lot of stuff to do here. The free roam map itself is very, very large as well. And just kind of exploring around is very fun with it. And I definitely didn't expect it to be as enjoyable as it has been. So I kind of guess we got to, you know, address the elephant in the room, you know, the $80 price point. And I think my take on the $80 price point is going to be a very simple one. If this game was $70, nobody would be talking negative about this game in that sort of way. You know what I'm saying? I think people would have been thrilled with this game at the $70 price point. I think the $80 price point took over the conversation of if the game is very high quality or not, because I think the game is extremely high quality. The graphics have been redefined. The music sounds great. There's a lot more animations. There's a lot more stuff happening all on the screen. It looks great in docked mode. It looks great in handheld mode. Like it's a very visually pleasing game. And, you know, it might not look super different than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but then you start to factor in like the open-endedness of the game, and then you start to realize, yes, this is a bit of a graphical leap for the Mario Kart franchise. And it's really just a shame that this was an $80 game, because I think everyone would have loved it. I think everyone would have loved it if it was that standard $70 price point. But even at $80, you know, if you're a diehard Mario Kart or Nintendo fan, let's be real, you're buying this. you would have bought it at $100. If you're a casual Mario Kart fan, if you're more along the lines of me, definitely try to get it in the bundle. I think the bundle, that more than makes up for anything, in my opinion, with that. That is definitely the move. That is definitely what you want to do. Unless you are a diehard physical person, then you're kind of stuck getting the $80 edition. But it's definitely a very high-quality game. It's a very high-quality game that, damn it, they should have released it at $70 and everyone would have been thrilled. There would be no conversations about it. But, it's your money, man. If you see $80 in this game, I agree with you 100%. If you don't see $80 in this game, I agree with you 100%. But I do have to admit, I was not expecting this. I was not expecting to enjoy this game as much. I was not expecting the sort of open-endedness and the freedom that the game gives you. And really, at the end of the day, it's just damn fun. Like, it's just a fun-ass game that I could definitely see myself playing for quite a while. So, let me know. Let me know what you think of it in the comments section down below. Let me know if you picked it up, if you plan on picking it up. What do you think about the footage I have shown and the words that I have spoken? Did you understand my analogy about the Forza Horizon versus Mario Kart World? Because like I said, 99% of the people I don't think are going to get it, but maybe I did a better job of explaining it than I thought I did. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. There's a lot more coming. We still got to talk about Street Fighter, Cyberpunk, Fast Racing, the Sonic game that I bought. Yeah, check out the other videos on the channel as well. Hit subscribe if you are new. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.